Good evening, sisters and brothers. Few days from now, at least, there is going to be a major celebrations in Tamil Nadu, which we are all. December is supposed to be the birthday of one of the greatest poets Tamil Nadu has seen, called Mahakavi Bharati. His songs are very patriotic, inspiring, quite famous. And even after 80, 90 years of he being gone, his songs are quoted even today. I thought I'll share one line from that, which will be in Tamil, and then translate and connect something which came to me in the satsang. During the freedom fight he had, of course he passed away before India gained freedom. The song goes like this: ஓராயிரம் வருடம் ஓய்ந்து கிடந்த பின்னர் வாராது போல வந்த மாமணியை தோற்போமோ. Translate something like this: having waited for close to 1,000 years to get a gem of a rare quality, would you squander it away just like that? There's a lot of significance to these words as far as our heartfulness movement is concerned. If you really look at the antecedents of our system, many of us who are familiar with our literature will know that the concept of pranahuti ceased to exist 72 generations prior to Raj Dasarath. And Lalaji Maharaj had to come back to reinvent and give it as modified Raja Yoga to suit the current needs. And many of us, having been born after the reinvention, may not even realize the significance of what this pranahuti is all about. Many of us understand the value of things in our life in its absence. Those who are born after 47 will never understand the value of freedom, because we are born free, at least in a country which is technically free. Likewise, being born into a time when pranahuti is available in abundance, we may not even realize what it would mean in case it ceases to exist. A few times when Chariji Maharaj spoke about this, he had said that he had asked Babaji Maharaj a couple of times what would happen in case there are not enough abhyasis to keep the system going. He said, apparently, Patsadi, it's not your problem. In case you are not able to generate sufficient enthusiasm for people to take, don't worry, nature will take its course. So the concept of time does not exist beyond the heart region. This is what Daji has said, where time is all about duality. There is an observer and there is an observed, and the gap is considered to be time. So nature has no time span. It just would go back into the atmosphere and wait for it to descend again. When would such a situation happen? It has a lot of relevance to the message that Daji has sent to NCR region. And I am just seeing a connect there. If you look at our old Ayurvedic system, there is one anecdote where Babaji Maharaj falls ill and he goes to the bright world, and then he locates Lord Dhanvantari and asks him that this is my sort of a complaint. And then Dhanvantari dictates a prescription to him. And then he goes with this prescription to meet a lot of Ayurvedic doctors. And many of them say that this doesn't even exist today. We don't even know what it is. What I understand from that is also very similar to what happens specifically in India. In India, many of the teachers, what they do is, to the next generation of students, they teach only 1/5, 1/6, 1/4 of what they know. This is to safeguard themselves, to be sure the student doesn't surpass. And what happens is, after 2, 3, 4 generations, what is available to the fourth, fifth generation is much lower than what is available from the source. If you look at the purity of Ganges at Komuk and look at the river near Calcutta, the Hooghly, you will find a huge difference because it got polluted so much in between. That danger always exists for a system like heartfulness. Many years back, I was reading a book called Tipping Point, an author called Malcolm Gladwell. He compares many successful companies, including religions, and says when a system or a product has now come to a point where it won't take a U-turn anymore, which means after that it's on an autopilot mode. It will automatically, you don't need to do anything. And he gives this postulation that 5% of your market size is what you have to reach before you reach the point of no U-turn anymore. The market will just take it. You take the case of Christianity. It is said that for them to reach this, what is called as a tipping point, you can read that book, it's a fabulous book. It took them more than 300 years, between 300 to 400 years of struggle Christianity had to take before they covered their target market, which is 5% of those who believed in God. And today they are almost like 40% of the world market. They are still the number one religion. Islam apparently took about 300 to 400 years again. They are now the second largest religion. Why am I saying all this? If you apply this to a product like Apple or Samsung or any large brands that you know, that you buy, that you consume, that you use, they come to a place where now it's in a tipping point. They cross the tipping point. If you apply to heartfulness movement, what is our target population? The entire world. And we can't say that we contribute or we share the methodology of heartfulness only to this segment. Even to the people below the age of 15, we give them relaxation technique, we give them brighter minds program. Above 15, you have the full suite of our offerings, which means your world market size is about 8 billion plus. If we take this 8 billion plus for heartfulness to reach a point of what we call as a tipping point, after which we don't need to do much, take it as 5% of 8 billion, roughly about 40 million active practitioners. Not 40 million people who know heartfulness movement, but 40 million active practitioners. If you really look at what we are today, we are nowhere there yet. We'll have several data presented to us, but I know with certainty that we don't have 40 million. I mean, if there are 40 million practitioners, you would have centers and ashram every alternate street in the world. The way you have churches, the way you have temples, the way you have mosques, which means we aren't still there. So what does it mean to us? It means that we need to sustain this system till such time we reach the tipping point. Until then, we can't afford to dilute what is given to us. The struggle of the masters, which I have personally seen, 21 years Chariji Maharaj, and I'm continuing to travel with Daji since 2012. They are continuously going through what in corporate parlance you'll call as product refinement. They keep coming out with so many refinements to keep it interesting to us, make it easier. I don't use the word simple. Make it easier actually, though they say simple but not easy. They are making it as easy as possible. Daji has gone to the extent of saying, you want to meditate just for 5 minutes, please do. But the catch is that in case a dilution happens, what will happen is what goes to the next generation may not be what heartfulness originally was about. So if I connect it back to what Daji has given as a message for NCR, which is just not applicable to NCR alone, it's applicable for everyone who is serious about what we are getting out of heartfulness. In many of my heartfulness and corporate sessions, I share this little story of a very successful farmer in Canada. He apparently they have large cultivable land, and the farmers do it anywhere between 500 to 1,000 hectares is the size that they have. And he is into what is known as the corn. He cultivates corn, and they have a competition at a national level to find who is the best farmer who gets the maximum produce for the corn per hectare. For almost 6-7 years he keeps winning this competition where every year he gets it, and one day they decide to interview and find out what is the success of your produce. Says it's quite simple. I travel about 200-300 kilometers circumference of where my land is, and I ensure that all those farmers who plant corn plant the best of the seeds. So ask him, how does it make a difference? He says that corn is all about cross-pollination. What is sown in one place actually flies through the air, gets cross-pollinated, comes somewhere, and what is sown there goes elsewhere. So I actually do not reap what I sow. I reap what I sow elsewhere, not what I sow here. So if you look at heartfulness as a practice, it would be futile for us to think that I do my practice, I am secure, things are taken care. If you are in a home, what happens inside your home disturbs or changes your vibratory level. If the people around you are not meditating, your neighbors are not meditating, the people in your street are not meditating, the people in your town are not meditating, in all probability at some point of time, we all have this bias, what we call as proximity bias. When we keep seeing more and more people around us who are enjoying their life, going to a mall, driving in high-end cars, I'm not saying it's wrong, nor am I saying it's right. Then we look at life with this spectacles, colored spectacles, thinking that this is how we have to live the life. And though we are rooted in heartfulness, what happens is we think it's chalega, it's okay. Another 1 year, 2 years, let me dive deep and enjoy the life and go back. And what happens is the dilution process starts. That's when masters always keep giving us wake-up calls. Do not let the seed in you get diluted at any cost, because when the dilution starts from within, the dilution spreads like wildfire. You tell your family members, it's all right, we'll skip satsang this week, it's okay. Sunday there's a good movie coming out somewhere, there's a nice mall which is opening up, or we'll go for a weekend holiday somewhere. And then one adds to another. You must have all seen a very short, beautiful video. You can go and look up on YouTube called the Domino Effect. It's about a 4-minute video. Starts with a very small 3 square inch stone. On the other end you have a 30 square feet stone, and the person just pushes this stone and one hits the next, each one of a differentially higher size. In less than 2 minutes, the biggest stone falls. And he also shows that by yourself on your own that stone cannot be pushed because it's so heavy. But this domino effect pushes, and that's what happens when our practice dilutes. If you look at our practice, if you really are sincere about the practice, you have to easily invest between 2.5 to 3 hours a day. This is a word of caution I'm giving because you shouldn't get confused with the basics. When I start reading mathematics in class 1, the syllabus is different. It's very superficial. When I go to standard 2, when I go to standard 3, when I'm in 5 and I'm in 10, the same mathematics subject, but now I'm doing calculus, I'm diving much deeper. Then you go to a MPhil, PhD, postdoctoral, same subject, depth is more. Likewise, heartfulness starts with the very simple 3 pillars of meditation, cleaning and prayer. But if you stop there, you are still only in kindergarten. Really look at a sincere practitioner's daily table, with each of the practice being done with utmost sincerity, with a heart filled with what we call as pining. The pining is something more than just a want. Pining is when you really will not stop at anything till you get to that place. I pine for someone's love, that's what they say, elders. When they see someone, how did you get to marry someone? I pined for her and then we got married. Starting right from the morning practice, which starts with point B cleaning, followed by the prayer, followed by the individual meditation of at least about an hour. All this to happen prior to rise of the sun. Oh my God. In Delhi, in winter, before sunrise. Let's move on to the next aspect of the practice. And then the initial practice involves your evening cleaning. And then slowly you are introduced to the universal prayer. And then slowly you are introduced to the point A meditation between the 9 p.m. universal prayer and your 10th maxim. I don't know if you know the difference. And after the point A meditation is done for about 10 minutes, between your universal prayer and your bedtime, you also do your 10th maxim, which is what is helpful for you to dilute your point D. Master says that even God cannot help. Point D is something that you have to work upon yourself, and for that you use your maxim 10. And then the bedtime prayer. As it intensifies, this has to be now, we need to add more practice elements, which includes the use of the 4 suggestions and the 3 intentions at least once an hour. I don't even know, whenever I speak, many abhyasis ask, I never knew this was part of the syllabus. And then it starts like that. And it has to now move from thinking to feeling. You go from the state of meditation slowly to a state of constant remembrance. And as you deepen your constant remembrance, it has to move into what we call as a meditative state. These are the process of moving from thinking to feeling to being to becoming. At some point of time, you are a walking reflection of the Guru who all along had been hiding inside you and exposing you. And as Lalaji Maharaj says, through your practice, you hide yourself and expose the Guru. Normally, this can take years of assiduous practice. But there are sufficient shortcuts available. Sahajmarg heartfulness itself is a shortcut, but even within that we have so much of shortcut. Is to periodically revisit and question ourselves in terms of the practice. Is it what I am doing, how it has to be done? Last year, I remember that we had a similar initiative in Tamil Nadu. We ran a program for 100 days. Maybe you can look at using it here also. We ran what is known as becoming like him. In Tamil we had it called as Avarai Pol Agudal, to become like him. And we told them, for the next 100 days, you evaluate yourself. Every day, look at yourself to see if you have at least lived 5, 10, 15 minutes your life the way a master would live. Not asking someone to press your leg or make your food. The service that apparently the physical form of a master gets. But have you behaved someone the way master would? Have you pardoned someone the way master would? Have you responded someone the way master would? And surprisingly, we had for each of these initiatives, we run a Google form and ask people to register, and then we map them to a set of preceptors and volunteers. 1,300 people registered. And we even offered to give them completion certificate. In the sense, it was like a participation certificate. We said, okay, we don't even ask, question, check whether you actually have practiced. If you think 100 days, you have at least spent some time of your day, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. If possible, keep increasing it. that you have, in that 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you have lived your life worthy of being his disciple, and say that yes, these 10, 15, 20 minutes I breathe my life a master, the way a master would. Many people gave their names and took the certificates also. We didn't question, we didn't want to judge. We wouldn't know. Surprisingly, something happened. In the next S&P batch, 350 of them applied and became preceptors. Something triggered, something moved inside of them. All along, they never wanted to, and then this happened, they applied, and then they came in. If you link it back to the con theory that I shared, it's like an insurance premium. The practice that we are doing is an insurance premium we are paying to ensure that this system is maintained in its pure and pristine form and passed on to the next generation. Not just by my own practice, but by ensuring I create a set of people who are always around me. There's this famous quotation which says that, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you what your character is. Tell me who your best 5 friends are, I'll tell what your character is. That way, if you look at your own life and find who are surrounding you, willingly or unwillingly, it will be a very clear indication of what your trajectory is going to be, your spiritual trajectory. If the spiritual trajectory has to be of the highest order, I have to ensure that I surround myself with people of like-minded thinking, feeling, etc. Which means I need to have people who are practitioners around me all the time. Whatever be the depth of their commitment to the practice, I need to have. This is why we always request people, wherever you work, ensure that the people around you get at least a taste of heartfulness. If possible, start a satsang center in the place where you live, where you work, wherever you go. If you are in business, all your vendors and suppliers and customers, talk to them. It's okay, they're not going to shoot you down. I always tell them a very simple one-liner. I practice meditation, I find it good, would you like to taste? 3 lines, sufficient enough. They say, no, I don't need, it's okay. You have done your best. If they say, no, I don't know, can you tell me? Introduce. What will happen then? Instead of your regular, I would say, the gossip conversations you have in office, lunchtime and other stuff, you start having more productive conversations about divine stuff. I'm not saying that you forget your material life, but at least by intensifying the practice and spreading the fragrance, it does happen that we take it to the next level. If somebody gives me 10 rupees, at least when I give it back to them, I should give it as 10, if not more. I can't say that I'm sorry, I lost $5, your $5 is here. So, in a way, we as practitioners of heartfulness, we have a moral obligation to pass on a more refined version to the next generation. And how can I pass it on to the next generation unless I am practicing myself in a more refined way as compared to how I would have been practicing 1 week back, 1 month back, 1 year back, 2 years back. For all these questions, you know the answer lies within you. You can cheat the entire world, but you cannot tell a lie to your conscience. Your conscience will tell you for sure, come on yaar, stop the stories. You are saying so many things, but you know who you are. You know harm, you can run away from the world, but you can't run away from yourself. See if you can refine yourself. If a Valmiki could become what he was from being what he was and write Ramayana. Charji Maharaj's famous quote is, only a sinner can turn a saint. If you're already saintly, why do you need heartfulness? You are already good enough to be on your own. If possible, next 90 days or 100 days, whatever, start something what works for this region. Bring everyone in, have conversations, have people talking about it. This always in some way infuses more confidence, because sometimes what happens is, as I am practicing, the question comes up, am I progressing? Am I in the right path? Is Master taking care of my spiritual growth? All these questions come even to seasoned people. Nobody is an exception. But in such times of doubt is when you have to dive deeper. start something which would help. See, the purpose behind the religious congregations of once a week also came from this. Whether it's a Friday namaz, or a Tuesday or a Thursday puja in a temple, or a Sunday service as they call for the mass that they have in a church, or the weekly get-together in gurdwaras. All these happen just to remind you to stay connected. And for us, we don't have that issue because if you are in constant remembrance, you are connected continuously. So let's revisit our direction that Daji has given for NCR. Why are we being told to practice again? Does it mean all other regions are doing good, only NCR is being singled out because the practice is bad? May not be so. Maybe having me here, maybe he is giving me a message through you, because till I came here I didn't know. Maybe he is giving me a message that go and tell more people that take your practice seriously. Take your practice seriously to such an extent that at least in the next 5, 10, 20 years, we reach the tipping point, which is the critical mass of 5% of our global audience. And that can only happen by us being a shining example of what he would want us to be. So my personal request and a prayer is that take this 30, 60, 90 days, whatever time frame that you're going to set for yourself, which specifically Daji has chosen NCR for this. He is sending a message to many of us through this initiative. Revisit the basics. If needed, there is no harm even in taking 3 sittings all over again. Yesterday I was speaking to an Abhyasi and he said, I don't feel that kind of a connect. I said, please go and take 3 sittings again. Charji has told this several times. Daji has said it. Whenever you feel, it's okay. Go there, because that helps you to cultivate the bhavana, the bhava as they say, humility. Today is my first day. Today is my first sitting. So I'm not a preceptor. I'm not in this region or in this point. I'm starting all over again. Let's commit ourselves to do that, and I pray and wish that this happens soon by His grace. Thank you.